Two men from completely different parts of the world. One from the favelas of Brazil, one from the streets of Hawaii. Both written off early in life, both told that they would not make it. Both fighting not just their opponents, but life circumstances.
O campeão tem nome, se chama Charles do Bronx. Pode bater, bate, filha, homem aqui aguenta, rapaz. Nós é iluminado, rapaz.
They met once before, way before the belts, way before the legacy, way before the hype and the fame, before the world knew who they really were.
Max Holloway showing there's levels. Holy smoke. The best boxer you see, baby.
Now, years later, former champions, future Hall of Famers, and two of the most respected fighters the UFC has ever produced. And they meet again. Not for a title, but something that somehow feels even more violent. This is Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira for the BMF belt. When you think of Hawaii, you think peace, tranquility, blue oceans, white beaches, but Max Holloway did not grow up in the fairy tale version of Hawaii. For him, there were no postcards, no beaches and cocktails. He was raised mostly by his grandmother because both of his parents were heavily involved in drugs.
My mom and my dad, I knew they were heavy drug users, and then my dad would always beat up my mom. I think so that her drugs was like her medicine, like would calm her stress, but that's why she noticed that she put our lives in front of hers and gave us to our grandma.
And that kind of childhood does two things to a kid. It either breaks you or hardens you early and motivates you to go on and do big things. For Max, it was kickboxing that was his way out. The gym became his structure, his discipline, his ultimate escape route. While other kids were young, making friends and still figuring life out, Max was already learning how to suffer and switch it into a positive, how to push through pain, how to keep moving forward when things get uncomfortable, not only in the ring, but also in life.
You shouldn't even give up. Like, what is that? Like that, if you give up, you certified a loser. If you try, you at least win in your book.
The pride of Hawaii, Max Bless Holloway.
All I gotta say, I'm him, guys.
And that mindset is still the foundation of who he is today. Relentless, unbreakable, indomitable will to win, built for volume, pace, and pressure. By the time he reached the UFC, Max Holloway wasn't just a talented kickboxer, he was already battle-tested by life. Charles Oliveira's story is very different, but the struggle is just as heavy. He grew up in the favelas of Brazil, born in the Vicente de Carvalho favela in Sao Paulo, where opportunities are limited, violence is prevalent, and survival is the priority. As a child of only 7 years old, Charles was diagnosed with a serious medical condition called rheumatic fever. He went through intense pain as a child, and there were many times where he literally was unable to walk, and his father had to pick him up and carry him around.
Mas, tipo assim, uma coisa que eu lembro muito, assim, que foi muito pesada na minha cabeça, assim, foi quando os médicos falaram assim que pô, seu filho não vai poder ser uma criança normal, sabe? Tipo, é muito louco. Muito louco.
Him and his family were warned by doctors that he could potentially become a paraplegic, unable to ever walk again, and so he should avoid playing any sport whatsoever. On top of that, his family could barely afford basic necessities, let alone Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but somehow they found a way. Charles's condition improved, and by the age of 12, he joined the Jiu-Jitsu gym. His family barely scraped together the money to get him on the mats, but they did it. And those mats saved his life. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was not just a sport for Charles. It was therapy, it was purpose, it was proof that the doctors were wrong, and his spirit, love, and God were right. Every submission he hit became a statement. Every win became survival. Every role became proof that he was destined for something greater than he was told by the doctors. From a kid who might never walk again to one of the most dangerous fighters the sport has ever seen.
Depois de muito tempo, 11 anos, irmão. Demorou 11 anos lá dentro. E eu batalhei pra caraca, tipo, aconteceu, tá ligado?
When Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira first fought more than 10 years ago, they weren't legends. They were young, up-and-coming prospects. Dangerous, talented, but still very raw and very flawed. They met on August 23rd, 2015 in Saskatoon, Canada. Max was 23 years old at the time and ranked number 5 in the UFC featherweight division. Charles Oliveira was 25 years old, ranked number 7. That night, the young 5th-ranked Max Holloway won via a stoppage due to injury. A very strange stoppage, with Charles Oliveira dropping to his knees, unable to continue the fight. And this is where the story gets a little bit darker. After the fight, Charles believed that he may be paralyzed, and his traumatic childhood came back and reared its ugly head yet again. At first, there were rumors of an esophagus injury. Later, he spoke of it being a potential neck injury, ultimately not knowing what the injury was.
Cara, na hora que eu entrei nas pernas dele, que eu bati a cabeça na grade, só deu tempo de levantar, eu levantei o braço esquerdo e pum, já era. Perdi o momento do lado esquerdo inteiro. Não, de que eu nem mexi o pescoço nem nada, e mesmo assim.
For a man who already faced the same fear as a child, it wasn't just a physical injury, but it was a psychological one. Max Holloway had a lot to say about the injury, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. Regardless of what happened in the fight, it was marked as a TKO loss for Charles Oliveira. And yet, he came back again. What then followed over the next 10 years was something special for both men. Max Holloway went on one of the greatest runs in UFC history, literally breaking UFC records, becoming featherweight champions, defending the belt against killers, finishing legends more than once, and setting records for volume and pressure that may never be broken. Charles Oliveira went on a similar run, but maybe a little bit more tumultuous. He completely reinvented himself. He moved weight classes to the lightweight division. He took losses, faced a bunch of criticism, people calling him a quitter. He was labeled fragile and someone who could not handle adversity, until he proved everybody wrong. He went on one of the greatest runs in lightweight history and became lightweight champion. He fought elite competition and never went to decision with them. He finished almost all of them and turned into one of the most feared finishes that the lightweight division had ever seen. 2 men, 2 paths, but the same destination: greatness. Now it's 2026 and we're here 10 years later and 17 title fights between them. Holloway and Oliveira are on another collision course. Stylistically, this fight is fascinating. And as a professional MMA sports bettor, the first thing I do is look at the odds. Max Holloway was lying the -240 favorite in the first fight, but the odds makers have a little bit more respect for Charles Oliveira this time round, with Max Holloway sitting as low as -170 on some bookmakers. Max Holloway has crazy volume, pace, durability. He drags you into the deep waters of the fights and keeps winning while you drown. He wins minutes. He breaks people's rhythm and overwhelms them, and does not stop throwing until literally the final second. Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, is chaos. He is a hurricane, a Muay Thai / Jiu-Jitsu / MMA hurricane that walks forward. Submission threats literally everywhere. Elite Muay Thai kickboxing. One mistake against Charles and the fight is over. The big question here for me is, can Charles Oliveira force Max Holloway into the grappling exchanges? Because if he can do that, he has a pronounced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu advantage. The issue is, Max Holloway has one of the best takedown defenses in the entire game. But Charles Oliveira does not shoot traditional takedowns. This guy will jump on your back, from standing. This guy will literally roll for a leg lock just to get into a grappling entanglement so he can then reverse you. And if he can do that to Max Holloway, it's going to get dangerous very, very fast. But if this stays standing and Max Holloway starts to get into his rhythm, starts to get comfortable, things could snowball fast on the feet for Charles Oliveira. And he may find himself trying to swim against the tide that is Max Holloway. And almost nobody has been able to do that. As a professional MMA bettor, I have to tape and research every single fight before it happens so I can make my prediction and ultimately bet on where I believe the value is in the betting lines. You know, some fights are kind of boring to tape study and research, but this fight is going to be extremely exciting. The difference in this fight now is maturity. Max Holloway, even recently, in the last couple of years, has completely changed his style. He is a much smarter kickboxer now. He stays on the outside. He has added multiple shots into his arsenal, like the spinning back kick. Yes, he had that in his arsenal before, but now he throws it at a much higher level, like the knee, like the elbow. Max Holloway is functioning at a much higher level of technicality than he has ever done before. He is still growing, even into his older age in MMA. Charles Oliveira is still the hurricane and whirlwind he always was, but now it's more controlled pressure. It's also more dangerous pressure. He used to sell out for the takedown. Now, the guy is happy to stand on the feet, knee you in the face, and knock you unconscious, like he has done to very high-level mixed martial arts fighters in the UFC. Neither man is green or raw anymore. Both understand exactly who they are and exactly what they have to do to win. And both understand exactly how much this fight means and what it represents. This fight is for the BMF title. Now, the BMF belt is very controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it, but here's the truth. If there was ever a fight that deserved the moniker of the BMF title, it's this one. Two absolute legends, two absolute warriors, two fighters with violence personified. Two survivors, two men who literally embody being a bad motherfucker. These guys are not the trash talk type. These guys come into the fight not trying to hype it up for no reason. They let their skills do the talking. Heart, durability, will to win, and no matter who wins this fight, the fight ultimately is about legacy in the UFC octagon. Charles Oliveira is looking to right the wrong of the first fight, where Max Holloway is looking to show everybody that what happened in the first fight was not a fluke, was not an injury. I told you that Max had some words to say about Charles Oliveira's injury in their first fight.
You know, there's also Oliveira. I heard he was yapping, saying that our first fight was injuries. You know what I mean? He had an injury when we fought. Last time I checked, when they did a follow-up and they wanted to find out what his injury was, there's no injury report on it. They said he was fine, so I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. While
these guys are not out there for trash talk or beef, Charles Oliveira will hear that and he will be looking to show the world exactly what he's made of. I can't wait for this fight. This isn't just a rematch. This is a celebration of the highest level of MMA. If you love fights like this, you're in the right place. And if you want my full breakdowns and bets that I personally place to make a full-time income betting on MMA, then you know where to find me. Hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.